The thing that we need to get very, very clear in our minds is that when we say the whole world, according to Scripture, is in the power of the wicked one or the evil one, which represented basically Satan's logo, the serpent. And again, there's people that have said, well, are you saying that serpents are evil? In the sense of the symbology that was used in the Scripture, it represented Leviathan. That's what the implied social contract is called. That's what legal rights are. That's what the UN is about. It's the unnation. It's not a real nation. It has nothing to do with God. It's dealing with legal rights, not who you are spiritually with your creator. It's dealing with the recreator, the recreationalist, the liar, the entertainer, Satan. That's why I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm not here to lecture you on believing in fiction or a lie. So the ruler of this world has got the UN with his symbol on it right now, as does the World Health Organization. World does not mean the earth. It does not mean spirituality. It means the temporal existence that you would sell yourself for basically an advantage or money. We got to be careful about that because that's dealing with who you are spiritually. And we have to understand that the World Health Organization chooses its name, WHO, but it's really this because they represent prostitution and illegal, which is who are you? So they just want to know what who are you are, under what legal assigned name you may have, such as Smith or Taylor, as a brand name, so they can make use of you and brand you. Now they're about to basically make sure they inject their final poison in you. If they can get you to believe that that's your name, even though it's not your real name, it's a fiction of law in the legal system run by devil's advocates, they will convince you that they can put their poison in your body. And it's working quite well. Because it appears that the majority of the population, of the Pope, is getting this injection. And it's working very well and successfully. And therefore, they're boosting their plan into many booster shots to make sure that you have something artificial in your body. So, the body corporate of the legal system requires more poison in it. And that's all they're doing is injecting more poison. And then you will lose what you had before, which is heart. And your heart is the root word for courage. And you won't be brave anymore. You won't have spirituality. You won't stand up for what is truth. You will fall prey to rationalization, to do anything in order to just get that next morsel of food. At what cost? At whatever they basically say it's going to cost. And so right now, this organization that's running it with that symbol of the serpent is actually gaining momentum to such a level that it is biblical. That the majority, as it was in the days of Noah, the majority perished. There wasn't a large successful amount of people that got into salvation. It was a very small amount of people who were untainted. It said that Noah was perfect in his generation, but he had perfect blood as it was recorded in other translations. He didn't have tainted blood. He wasn't mutated. And there was quite a mutation going on at the time of Noah. You can read that account for yourself, but understand we are having a parallel of this right now. And right now they're planning on mutating into your body something that is not what God intended. So the situation now, people are putting their faith in lawyers. They think lawyers are going to come to their aid under who they are constituted. Well, they constituted you to be a debtor, and that's why they assigned a debtor name onto you, a surname. And therefore, could these guys bring you salvation as devil's advocates? It doesn't matter whether or not they know what I'm talking about. That has no bearing on the subject matter. What has the bearing on is who they belong to, who they advocate. So they're not advocating God, they're advocating the devil. And therefore they advocate lies, and they will tell you they're going to win these court cases to actually take your money, what little you have left, and they'll suck it dry. They're parasites, they're snakes, they're vipers. They inject the poison at you at birth to bring you into their plot, and then they even get you to buy a plot at the end to dig yourself 6 feet under. And they will actually stone you to death inside that cemetery, because you will be stoned to death with a plaque that says basically you were their property right to the very end. You were deceived. These guys have not changed their format from the beginning, and they are running for the wrong direction, the wrong purpose. They have nothing to do with spirituality. So we have to be very careful. Are you listening to these guys that say they're going to come to your aid? How could they? They work for the source that promotes the legislation, promotes the laws that are now encumbering you from existence. They control the blood money, and they're saying, no, you can't enter into this, you can't do this. This is the training wheels to starvation at their point. They will starve you to death through an artificial belief concept that you can't live without the money. And so it's come to the level that people now are willing to do whatever it is so they can have better access back to the money. Very few people are going to come through this in survival. If we're looking at the biblical prophecy, a very large portion of the world population will perish. The world population, people part of the world of Satan, controlled by the World Health Organization, who are whoring the population. They're the biggest, if we wanted to say, traffickers. Not in man and woman, but in humans. They're human trafficking in fiction with legal rights, and they have people convinced to do whatever they say. So be careful on being deceived right now, because there's a few, even, right now in Canada, there's guys showing up on the internet, and we're not going to name them directly. We'll just give you their last initial, which is G in Canada, claiming that he's going to bring you to salvation. He's going to bring you a constitutional salvation that's going to overtake this mandate of getting basically the what? The injection, and you can't be stopped from your commerce. Well, there's no proof to that at all. And in fact, a previous case in Canada over a restaurant owner who I met directly, and my prayers go out to him, that I knew they were going to wipe him out even before he got started. And when I told him that, I knew that he was doing the best he could, because he had he had explained to me he had no legal knowledge on what to do, and he was relying on a legal system and fundraising from other legal restaurant entrepreneurs who were funding him to actually fight it. And of course, what happened? They wouldn't even hear the case. So now you got some guy on the forefront now with that initial G who's saying that he's going to be the lawyer who's going to win against the government and actually have success. How could he go against the fraternity of the evil that basically injects the very poison? They are the ones that give you legal assigned rights under a legal fictitious name, and therefore they control that whole environment and realm. And so therefore, how could someone that is part of the poison that's injected you give you anything other than, of course, he's going to come out there and say, I'm going to give you legal aid. I'm going to come out there, just throw me some money, and I'm going to win the case against it. So sad, terrible deception, horrible evil. I will do my utmost to make sure that these guys are exposed anyways, through truth, through the charter that has nothing to do with the Canadian charter. That's the Bible. This is the believer's charter from God, and it's there for a reason. But if you're believing in the Canadian charter or anything to do with any of these other charters of any of these other governments, you're going to lose this battle against evil, because you've put your faith and hope in the wrong place.